What's good? Welcome to another edition of the Urban Uncensored Sports Talk. I'm your man Charles. Happy New Year out to all of you. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that other good stuff. Bah humbug. I'd like to get into this Rose Bowl, Rose Bowl game, and it feels pretty good to be in the national championship. The last 2 years we've been in the college football playoff and just couldn't get past the semifinal. The University of Michigan. Um, Feels good to be in the national championship, but you have to actually play another game to even get to that point. Big win over Alabama. I'm very happy about it. This is the happiest I've been as a Michigan fan in a while. It's been a long while. I have an opportunity to play for a national championship. Been watching college football for pretty much all my life now. Um, the last time Michigan was in a national championship game was 1997. I was 3 years old and I was starting to, really become a Michigan fan, watching Charles Woodson and Brian Greasy. And it's been a long time coming, very long time. I'd like to get into this Rose Bowl game. Um, a lot of people really thought, even though we were as the favorites in this game, it sort of felt like we were the underdog just because it was Bama. Bama, I heard a lot of people, talking, saying that, Bama was going to beat us by, double digits or maybe two scores or whatever. Me, I thought it was going to be a very close game. This Alabama team, they weren't really, rich with, possible NFL talent. Now, chances are these guys will get better in the future, and I know that. Nick Saban's the coach, and if there's anything that Nick Saban does do, is he's going to get guys to the league regardless. It just seemed like for the past month, I have been hearing, how much Bama's going to smash Michigan, and Michigan can't, compare to, Alabama, and how much of a better coach, Nick Saban is over Jim Harbaugh. It depended on who you ask. I mean, Nick Saban is the greatest college coach there's ever been. He's the GOAT, no doubt about that. With the resume that he's built up for himself, all the championships, so what and so forth, he's done it all. But I told a lot of people, I was like, well, Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh won't be on the field. It'll be their teams, and we'll see who's the better team come New Year's Day. As far as the Alabama passing attack, I really wasn't worried. Jalen Milroe, I could see him making improvements as the season went on, rather than earlier on in the season in September where they were struggling, with the likes of, South Florida. But, it was a monsoon that day, early September. The weather in Tampa, Florida, is pretty crazy. So it is what it is. And then they lost an early season game to Texas in Tuscaloosa. Texas played them pretty tough and went into Tuscaloosa and won. So didn't know what to expect from Alabama, early on in the season. But as the season went on, the team got better, racking up some real quality wins. LSU, Tennessee, and then eventually beating, Georgia in the SEC championship game. Which I truly didn't see coming. I was like, I don't really see Alabama winning this game, but they proved me wrong. Michigan, on the other hand, went through a lot of adversity with a recruiting scandal. Buying a, Jim Harbaugh possibly, pretty much, I guess, buying a recruit dinner or whatever, and then you had, the cheating scandal and the suspensions. Just seemed like everything. It seemed like Michigan versus everybody, literally and figuratively. We got past that, beat Ohio State, then beat Iowa to claim our third straight Big Ten championship. Got the number one seed. Found out that following Sunday that we were going to face Alabama, which I was like, okay, we got Alabama. So be it. We're just going to have to play. And, hearing all the hoopla for about weeks weeks upon weeks talking about how Bama's just gonna smash Michigan, and I'm just sitting back thinking, wow, either they haven't really watched us play or they're really buying into the Alabama mystique, and I'm just thinking to myself, wow, they really either they haven't watched us or they don't really know our team like that because we got a bunch of dogs playing for Michigan. J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, Roman Wilson, Will Johnson, Mikey Sanders. I mean, these guys are. There's a lot of pride on this Michigan team, and those guys are experienced, very, very experienced. So they've seen it all. Um, Getting to this game, first quarter, it looked like J.J. McCarthy threw an interception, which was called off because the guy was out of bounds and didn't establish himself. And then, we have the Samaj Morgan mistakes. Special teams almost killed this game for us. Special teams mistakes. With the Samaj Morgan fumble, running up under punts. I wish guys would stop running under punts. Otherwise, it's going to hit you in the face, hit you in the chest. If it hits you anywhere else besides your hands, you're screwed. That led to an Alabama touchdown, to which we did respond with a touchdown pass from J.J. McCarthy to Blake Corum. The one thing that I really noticed about this game was how physical Michigan really was towards Alabama. Usually Alabama is known for being, whether it's the offensive line or the defensive line, how physical they can be. And I would say Michigan really took it to them as far as the physicality standpoint. They were getting pushed back. Our front four and our linebackers just went after the Alabama offensive line and just went after Jalen Milroe. Michigan sacked Jalen Milroe 6 times in this game, and they were really getting after him. And there were some times where, Milroe broke off some runs and this and that and this. But first half was very entertaining. You had the trick play, where Donovan throws to JJ, and JJ, somewhat recuperates himself and throws it down the field. I want to say it was Tyler Norris who caught the pass. No, it was Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson caught that one, and that led to a touchdown. When Norris ran across the middle, scot-free, and tiptoed down the sidelines and got into the end zone. That was great, but they messed up on the extra point, the point after attempt, and that really could have went haywire for this team. It really could have, but unfortunately in the end it didn't. Would have loved to have that one because points are very important, regardless. First half was just really well played. Not too many penalties. Not really. It was just a real well played physical game. Not too many penalties, not too much, sloppiness. Well, there was some sloppiness, with the bad snaps from Seth McLaughlin to Jalen Milroe, which led to Milroe getting, sacked and, having that field position, pushed back for them. That was great to see. When the third quarter came around, it just seemed like, Bama was trying to really get that lead, regain the lead, get physical. They let off some long runs. Jalen Milroe was able to throw some, pretty good passes, to his receivers and, to the backs. McClellan let off some really good runs. He scored 2 touchdowns in this game. And their defense really stepped up on our offense. The third quarter, our offense couldn't do anything. We really couldn't do anything. And I think this game really came down to the point where Jalen Milroe was running and fumbled. Fumbled the ball, which led to Michigan getting the ball and trying to, kick a field goal, but couldn't get no points. Missed the field goal, which could have cut that deficit down to 1. Could have been 17-16, but it stayed at 17-13 for a while. And it just came to a point where it was like, okay, the defense is just going to have to rally. They're going to have to rally this game and just make things happen. And they did. Shout out to the Michigan defense, all those guys. They made plays, big time tackles, and stopped Alabama from really blowing this game open. Because around the fourth quarter, beforehand, I told a friend of mine over the phone, I said, man, our defense is just going to have to win us this game because the offense is really sputtering, and it's really not helping us at this moment. The offense really struggled in the second half up until, less than 4 minutes left to go in the game when J.J. McCarthy hit Blake Corum on a 4th and 2 pass out of the flat, out of the backfield, and pretty much, goes for a long gain down the sidelines when we were down 20-13. Roman Wilson had a illegal block in the back, but to no avail. It really didn't, make too much of a difference, that penalty alone. We scored a touchdown, short pass to Roman Wilson, which pretty much tied the game. And now at that point, I was thinking to myself, okay, if we score, should we go for 2, or should we just tie it up and then let our defense bail us out one more time? Thankfully, we didn't go for 2, and thankfully, again, our defense showed up when it really needed to in regulation. The part that really had me nervous the most was when our kick returner decided to try to field the ball inside the 5 and fumbled. He fumbled, he regained possession, got tackled at the 1. Thank goodness he did not fumble again, because, I probably would have died right then and there. Thank God. And like I said, special teams almost cost us this game. Thankfully, it didn't go that way. So, thank goodness for that. When they did the coin toss in the before overtime, and Alabama decided to defer and give Michigan the ball first to score, I was thinking, okay, we got to score now. No field goals, just score a touchdown. Get a good run from 2 good runs from Blake Corum, an 8-yard run, and then the go-ahead touchdown, pretty much the game-winning touchdown, to pretty much give us the lead in overtime. And it just leads down to our defense. And our defense, once again, stepped up, and I wouldn't say credit to Seth McLaughlin, but thankfully Seth McLaughlin was able to snap the ball low for Jalen Milroe to the point where, he has to, try to make a play. But the inside, right in the teeth of the defense, just stopped them. And we win, Rose Bowl champions, on our way to play Washington in the national championship game down in Houston. This game had me a lot more nervous than I was when we played Ohio State in the last game of the season. It had me very, very nervous. Like my nerves were bad. I'm more cool now. I'm more relaxed. But Monday night I was going through it. And when we won the game, I just couldn't stop screaming, yelling, just jubilation all around. Just jubilation. And the fact that that your team is in the national championship game, it's thrilling. It's a feeling that, I can't even describe in words. But all these years I've been seeing other teams go to the national championship, and I've just wondered, wow, when is my team, when is my Wolverines, going to go to a national championship and have a opportunity to lift up that trophy? And it's going to happen next Monday night. So I'm very excited. We're going to be playing against Washington. Michael Penix, depending on who you ask and what you see from your own eyes, he was probably the best quarterback in all of college football this year, and that includes Jaden Daniels, who eventually won the Heisman. Now, Michael Penix Jr. pretty much was looked at as big time Heisman candidate. You know, he probably would have had my vote for that, but that guy, he's a problem. I saw him against Texas, and I saw a lot of Washington this year, and they are a problem. They are a big time problem, and they held on. Their defense really held on for a win against Texas, because I was thinking to myself, oh boy, Texas might win this, and they're going to be on. They're pretty much a de facto home game for them, playing in Houston. But no, it's going to be Michigan and Washington. Washington and Michigan will be in the same conference, the Big Ten, next year. So I'm looking forward to that. So whoever wins and loses this game is going to have some hard feelings towards each other the next year and for years on ahead. With that being said, feels good to be in the national championship game. We're proving a lot of people wrong about Michigan football, and Harbaugh has a chance to win a championship. Excuse me, not another championship, but to add a national championship to his resume and stake his claim as one of the best coaches in all of college football. I'm going to be having some more Raven content, have some stuff to say about that. Got the number 1 seed in the AFC, so we got the Steelers coming up this upcoming Saturday. Resting the starters. I see where Lamar Jackson is going to be sitting. It's just, I feel great as a football fan at this moment. You know, my Ravens are at number 1 in the AFC. My Michigan Wolverines are in the national championship game. So life is pretty good. 2024 is starting really well for you, man. With that said, go blue. Hope everyone's doing well out there, living well, doing right. Before I get off here, just want to say, do what you love what you do. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.